Welcome back to the Title Deed Desk. In episode 6, we move from paper to electronic. Today is episode 7, and this one is about the change that involves another person, adding a name to your title deed, or removing one, the reminder. This is general educational content, not legal advice. This area touches transfer rules, family law, and tax-adjacent considerations that depend entirely on your facts, so check your own position carefully. Here is the framing. This episode sits on a line. On one side, it feels like a simple deed change. You just want another name on the certificate. On the other side, the moment you add or remove an owner, you are moving a share of ownership from one party to another, and moving ownership is a transfer. So this episode is partly about doing the change, and partly about recognizing which change you're actually making. Get that recognition right, and everything else follows. 1. Why adding a name is a transfer. If you own a property alone, and you add another person as a co-owner, something real has happened. A share of the property has moved from you to them. That is not a relabeling. That is a transfer of a portion of ownership. The register has to record not just a new name, but a new ownership split. This is why just add my spouse to the deed is never quite as light as it sounds. The department treats it as the transfer of a share, because that is what it is. The same is true in reverse. Removing a co-owner moves their share to whoever remains. Again, a transfer. 2. The routes this can take. Because it is a transfer of a share, the route depends on how the share moves. A sale of the share. One party pays the other for it. That is ordinary conveyancing applied to a portion, and it lives at conveyance.ae. A gift of the share. Shares. The share is given typically between close family, with no payment. That is gifting, and it has its own route at giftingproperty.8 with the HIBA. Mechanism explained at HIB at transfer.ae. The reason the route matters is that gifts and sales are treated differently. Different documents, different fee treatment, different proof of relationship for a gift. So before you do anything, answer one question. Is this share being sold or given? 3. When it is genuinely a dead side update. There are narrower cases that sit closer to a pure deed change, correcting how an existing co-ownership was recorded, where the real shares were always different from what the deed shows, can be a correction rather than a fresh transfer. That is an episode 4 situation in disguise. The test is whether ownership is actually moving now, or whether the record simply never matched the truth. If ownership moves now, it is a transfer. If the record was wrong from the start and you are fixing it, it may be a correction. This is exactly the kind of distinction where a few minutes of honest thought saves the wrong filing. 4. The documents follow the route. We cover the full bundle in episode 9, but the shape is predictable. Identification for everyone whose name is going on or coming off. Proof of the relationship, where the move is a gift between family. The current title deed, the valuation and fees appropriate to the route. And, where a party cannot attend, a proper power of attorney for whoever acts for them, which is its own work at POAS.a. The single most common mistake here is bringing sale documents to a gift, or gift documents to a sale. Decide the route first, then gather the documents for that route, not the other way around. 5. The human side, handled calmly. Adding or removing a name is often emotional. Marriage.sraton. A parent providing for a child, a partnership ending. The emotion is real, but the filing is not the place for it. The filing is mechanical once the decision is made. A share moves, by sale or gift, and the deed reissues to show the new owners and shares. If the parties agree, this is administrative and does not need a courtroom. If the parties do not agree, then you are not in a deed change at all. You are in a dispute, and that belongs at dispute.a, not here. So the calm path is, agree the decision. Identify the route, sale or gift. File it cleanly. If you want that filing handled by a desk that does these routinely, TitleDeed.ae will do it at a fixed, stated fee, and will point you to the right sibling service when the route demands it. In the next episode, the line that sits quietly on so many deeds, the mortgage, and what it looks like on your title deed. This was the Title Deed Desk.